You had mentioned to me how Otto von Habsburg was actually responsible for the unification of Germany.
Oh, yes.
So I'd like you to share that, because that is a major piece of history.
I'm not sure I may answer your question. It's something very confidential.
Oh.
No, I'll answer your question. I was joking. And Otto von Habsburg was also joking when he told me that. But it was not only a joke, it was also truth. I remember him telling me one day, he would quite often come and visit my grandfather in our country house here in Alsace, because my grandfather had been the first president of the Agricultural European Agricultural Confederation in the 1960s. And as I told you, we're a very European family. So Otto von Habsburg liked my grandfather very much, and he would sometimes spend the night after dinner in our country house. And when I was a student, I would drive him back to Strasbourg to the European Parliament, where he was supposed to spend his day. And one day in the car, he looked at me and he joked. He said, the reunification of Germany was done thanks to me. Because in 1991, I think, there was a very secret meeting at the European Parliament in Strasbourg between the French President François Mitterrand and the German Chancellor Helmut Kohl on the subject of the German reunification, because the French didn't like that too much. The French would feel more secure with two separated Germanies. Like, for instance, the Japanese may feel more secure with two separated Koreas or their neighbors. So the question of the reunification of Germany was a very geopolitical one, and especially seen from France. So President François Mitterrand, who did not speak one word of a foreign language except France, French was the only language he could speak, came here to Strasbourg to meet with Helmut Kohl and tell him all the conditions he would put for an eventual reunification of Germany. And Otto von Habsburg told me this was so sensitive, it was such a sensitive meeting, that they wouldn't trust any professional translator. And suddenly they turned to Otto von Habsburg and said, well, could you please translate for us? This is a very secret and confidential subject. So Otto von Habsburg made the Dolmetscher, the translator, between German and French. And he said, thanks to me it was done because I did not translate to Helmut Kohl all the conditions that the President François Mitterrand was putting on the table, and I didn't translate to Mitterrand that Kohl had said, whether you like it or not, we'll make it. So it was done.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's really
that was
great.
Otto von Habsburg. He was joking, but not. it wasn't, I think there might have been some truth in it.
And no one would ever have guessed or have never known, so I'm glad you mentioned it during this interview, because that, again, like I said earlier, that's a major fact in the history, excuse me, of the reunification.
Yes, certainly.